All right, everyone, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Thursday, February 22nd, 2022. If you've not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts and analysis. Hit the wrong button there. All right, let's get into it today. So markets here, bulls definitely proving it. So yesterday we kind of talked in the video about just based on some of the action I've seen in tech, we may look for a lower high if NVDA doesn't, make a new all-time high and can't, hold it. But the bulls have proven that otherwise, and we can see here, looking at the SPX, this isn't a ridiculously impressive move. The fact that we broke the rising wedge, and the fact that we just gapped up. Remember, we were talking about this trend line yesterday in the live stream. And we've just gapped above that. So pretty much just a gap and go trend day. We can get rid of that now. And if you look at the triple Qs here, this is the one I was concerned with. Or actually, let's use the NQ because the trend line fits better. But this is one I was concerned with, right? Because we had that lower trend line. We broke the rising wedge. And then we had this upper trend line, which we were still sitting at this morning. So when we popped up this morning pre-market, we were kind of hammering on that. We spiked through it twice. We couldn't hold it. And it was almost like, could it be a fake out here? But then we just surged there to the upside. And we're not quite at new all-time highs. So technically the Qs still have not made new all-time highs, at least on the NQ. I'm not sure if the triple Qs have. Yeah, the triple Qs are right there. So 439.14. Yeah, it looks like we missed it by 2 pennies. So either way, it's double top. And it is very impressive. Like look at the SMH today. Like this is you broke that rising wedge, broke below it 2 days, and then 7%. 7%. We were all the way up into the top trend line, and that's coincidentally where we stalled out. We just kind of grinded up against that really all day long. But obviously, NVIDIA is the fulcrum of the market. 15% move for a 1 point. It's like a $2 trillion company now. Let's actually take a look at that. So it's 1.9, so it's almost 2 trillion. This should get to 800. That should make it a $2 trillion company. So the initial reaction yesterday was kind of on the softer side. Obviously, we had that little dump first, and then it kind of it wasn't really an impulsive move. So I'm a little surprised that it moved up as sharply as it has today, because we didn't really see that like impulsive. When we had this move back here, it was like boom, like 100 points in seconds. This one was kind of on the slower side, but nonetheless, it did have another big day. You saw some of the AI names take a good jump there. Like SMCI up 30%, ARM up 6.5, 6.75. Palantir we talked about yesterday, that was up 4%. C3 AI up 1.6. This one seems to be kind of in the second tier nowadays. But in any case, markets, just an insanely impressive reversal. You can see we're actually hammering on this topside trend line. We should get to 5,100. We almost got there today. There is some gamma sitting up there, right at that area. But yeah, what can you say? This is you had a rising wedge. You had a confirmed break on multiple things. We had the IGV. We had that big outside move, negating this whole like couple weeks of trading here, 4 weeks of trading. And then it popped right back up. So we had some serious signs of weakness across the board on a lot of assets. And it's amazing how much power NVIDIA has at this point. Even intraday, if you look at the price, actually, we can just look at it right here. NVIDIA is holding up in the afternoon. Apple almost went red, and Microsoft almost went red, or well, it didn't go red, but it was close to the lows of the day. And the markets didn't even flinch. And it was just because NVIDIA is holding up. So it's just amazing how much weight that has now. Again, I told you yesterday, look at the range we were in yesterday. It was like 10 points up until the last, hour. It's like, I don't think I've ever seen the market hang on an earnings report like that ever. And that's including Apple and Microsoft. I've seen Apple and Microsoft have big moves and save the market or break the market, but I've never seen the market just sit sideways like it's just biting their nails waiting for this, not even an attempt to have any normal trading. So just wild stuff here for NVIDIA. That should get to 2 trillion and that 800 handle. So just an impressive move here. Where are we going from here? we've had this big blast off already. And we talked a while ago about the angle of it. It's pretty remarkable because you have an angle similar to this. If you take my trend line here, I'll go redo that. I'll do it from right here. You know, the angle is similar to this. Like even in 2021 when money was free and rates are at 0, this is still a steeper angle, and it looks like we're going to go even steeper here. So I would not get in front of this. If the Bears got to prove it, and they have done none of that. They had a very good chance to do that this week, and they had 0 if it started to happen. They had 0 follow through here. You don't fight this until you get a high volume sell or a gap and go down, an evening star, and it needs to be on volume. They can blow this off because this can go vertical. So I would not fight this. Yeah, just impressive move here. Anyway, Qs here. Again, up 3%, 3% move for the Qs. I mean, it's not like we're coming off of a low here. Amazing move. IWM, still on the softer side. Rates seem to only affect the Russell 2000 right now. And, you know, again, that's kind of, Mag 7 is going to have more of a moat of cash, and that kind of makes sense there. But the IWM is above the moving averages, and 1, 2, 3 pullback, still struggling with that 200 handle. And, you know, you can even extend this trend line out if we do start to pull back more. That we could look at that trend line there for the IWM, but weekly pattern is still okay. I don't hate this weekly pattern there for the Russell. So that's still looking okay. Dow here finally got to the 390 level. We've been talking about that since really the beginning of the month. We did pierce it. I'll work on new levels for this. I'll just say 395 for right now. I'll see if I can get a calculation done after the bell. I'll probably have it done tomorrow at least. But either way, Dow up 1.14. We talked about the semis up 7, hitting that trend line. Stocks up 5. You got a little kind of upsloping trend line there too. Again, you know, it's like you almost don't even want to like point it out, but like, you know, it's like, oh, there's another rising wedge that will probably just get negated, I'm sure. But, you know, and these are good, clean patterns too, and they're just getting completely negated. That's what's so impressive about it. So, IGV, we talked about up 2.7. Good recovery there, back inside of that island. Was that a one-day wonder? We'll see. That's why we always got to look at the weekly chart too. And I did mention that yesterday. I said technically weekly is still fine, but, you know, despite, I wasn't going to discount yesterday's price action, but the weekly was still okay as long as we're above, you know, I wouldn't want to see a weekly close below 410, put it that way. But, you know, it's holding up right now, and the trend is still up there. Transports, having a good day. Again, this needed it. Again, remember that it was getting a little dicey there with that 1-2 sell-off. Did a little bit of damage on the daily. The weekly is still fine. Pretty good down week last week, but it's recovering, and it's still above the weekly 20 MA, so that is still safe in my book. All right, interest rates here. So again, rates up. We had 30-year tips today, and it did not go all that well, if I'm not mistaken. We also had some data this morning. I think jobless claims, bonds yields did spike up a little bit on that. Then they came back in. You're going to notice here too the yield curve is continuing to invert. So 2s and 10s starting to push back up. 3-month 10-year coming back in, but see the 2-year yield is green, up 4 basis points. 30-year is actually down fractionally, but pattern-wise, this is still good here. On the 30-year, I actually really like what it's doing. It's setting up a nice sideways base. Same thing with the 10s and 5s, and then the 2 is starting to just ever so slightly push up. You know, will this market ever care? You know, again, we'll let price action tell us, right? If we have a sell-off and we reverse, you know, tomorrow we dump 3% and reverse this entire move and yields are spiking, well, then it's telling you the market cares. But until then, you know, it's just, it's going to continue defying gravity here. Or, you know, more money will just pile into NVDA and sell everything else, and the market will float up anyway because it makes up such a large portion of the market. But next level here, 4.8. If we break through, and then 5-year, you know, 4.5. 10s, again, we'll say 4.45, 4.5, and then 30 years 4.6, and then 4.75. I still think those targets can get achieved. XHB, that's still acting well. Trend is still up another 1.5. A lot of choppiness on the daily, but weekly it's still really stretched too. But it can't. Nothing to say it can't go higher here. VNQ up 3 cents, so a little bit of a laggard. I still like this pattern though on the weekly VNQ, and I think if it could continue to firm up, this could have a nice rebound here. Again, a lot of weekly resistance up here, and it's trying to reach switch this trend here. And you see the moving averages start to catch up. You're starting to get a little bit of spacing between the 20 and 50 on the weekly. So it's trying to change the trend, but sometimes it doesn't always happen overnight like that. But pattern-wise, it's still okay for now. XLF finally got to our 40 handle. It is pulling back off of that. I don't know if it wants to go higher right now. Next level after that's 40.75, and then obviously double top. Really, right now, there's nothing saying it can't get there. Just the way this market is. KRE down 31 cents, so this is still on the weaker side. It's actually down ticking right now as we speak. So again, we knew this was weak with that weekly close a few weeks ago. Say that 5 times fast. That daily kind of inside of this red too, so that could be setting up. That's really the only weakness I see right now in the market, in a broad sense. KBE is down 16 cents as well. It's not something you want to discount, but as long as credit spreads are tight, I think the market should be fine. They can widen really quickly though when they want to, but right now I think we're fine. Broker dealers here up 1% on the day. That can still go higher. Oil here continues to be impressive. It came close. I think this is ready to break out. I don't think it'll break out on a Friday, but I think it can break out next week. And you got to pivot here, and look what you're doing. You're consolidating beneath it. It's telling you it's getting ready to push. So I think this can go to 81.50. You'll have some resistance there in the daily, but if this pattern plays out, it can, believe it or not, it can go up to the $90, a little bit higher than that. There's going to be a lot of speed bumps up here. There's going to be 84.50, 85. And that, that target up there is if this inverse head and shoulder plays out. Again, it is an election year. I am well aware of that, but that's just what the technical pattern is. And who knows? Some country gets invaded again. We have a lot of geopolitical problems going on. It can spike really quickly before the government has time to act. So just keep that in mind. But oil looks really good, and it's acting well. Energy XLE here up 7 cents. Again, a lot of resistance at 87, which I told you about. It's pulling back, but it's still green on the day. That's showing relative strength. XOP inside day, no problems there. Would like to see that base a little bit here. OIH, it's peaking above that trend line, and it's going to close above it. So this is looking to be like it's getting ready to break out. I don't know what it's going to do tomorrow, but it looks like it's kind of just a matter of time here. I haven't talked about these stocks very often, but take a look at some of these gas producers. AR having a big move. Chesapeake. LNG report earnings day. That stock got hit a little bit. But these are all benefiting. Katera. These are all benefiting from that report from Chesapeake the other day about rig count continuing to decline. And you're going to see nat gas here today with a little bit of a test candle. So 1-2 off the lows. And the dip was bought here. So finally some relief in the gas market, but the producers are acting well. Again, we've talked about this a lot. I just don't know how much longer you can stay down here. It's below the cost of production for a lot of producers. And you can see historically, it doesn't stay down here very long either anyways. But finally some producers coming to their senses. And I can tell that they can tell there's a lot of shorts in nat gas and in these stocks, because AR should not be. AR is a company that's should not be from 21 to 25 in 4 days. And neither is Chesapeake or any of these other ones. So tells me that they've been heavily shorted. CCJ pulling back here tomorrow. We got to close back above 41.95. Otherwise, this is in trouble. URNM. I'd like to see this close above this tomorrow, but you'd still have the green bar even if you did. So not terrible shape, but we'll definitely go and review that tomorrow for Friday's close. So we talked about Natty. Well, I'll just say right now, if this can put in higher lows, it should go to 210, and then maybe 220. And then if it really has another leg up, I think it can go up and fill that rollover gap. If by chance they take it down, I think it'll be like a spike to low, stop everybody out, and then put it back up. But I think it's very attractive down here. Dollar index flat on the day. Little doji candle. We did test 103.50. That was my key level, and we came off of it. So pretty good recovery intraday. You know, it looks like it 193 or 103.96. Where do we close here? So it looks like we closed below that green. I don't like that. There's still a lot of support here, so it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely got to put in. It definitely got to hold 103.50 right now, and I'd like it to maintain higher lows. So dollar's not. It's not dead, but it's definitely been weaker the last couple of days, making lower lows too. Gold here still holding up, just kind of sideways. Yields were higher today, and the dollar was flat, so I think that put a little pressure on gold, but it's fine right now. I don't really see any issues with gold. Again, if yields really start to push up, does that bring it back in? I don't know. It's been very resilient. I think it trades more off the dollar than anything. That's probably why it's holding up so nicely the last couple of days, but this has been in a tight range. So 2075, to 2000 is kind of your range right now. Below that, 1975, 1950. Above that, 2100. Those are just the short-term levels on gold futures. Silver down 9 cents. So rolling over off the 200 I talked about. 2350, 2365. It's pulling back. Another hit of this trend line I think takes us down a little bit further. So just be careful with silver here. And platinum having a nice up day. So reversing that little dump yesterday, up 2%. Palladium up 2% as well. Let's see if I can build a little base here for another push higher. And then copper, inside day, didn't quite make a new high, but it is, still green. Again, we'll see tomorrow, let's say we put in a pivot and we start to come back down. I'll take this trend line and just do this. I'll say, okay, that's where the market is respecting. So we'll just change that. But for right now, we'll just go through the pivot and maybe we can get up there tomorrow. Lastly, Bitcoin, not doing a lot, right? Just hanging in there. So a little pullback yesterday, a little inside day today. This is nothing wrong. This is a bullish inside bar here. I think it needs to do a lot more of it, as I've said previously, but I don't see any problems here with this space. Ether looks fine. The other ones I like still look fine. The alts are okay, except for Celsius. But yeah, Bitcoin's fine. No updates, just in a tight range. And it looks like it's consolidating for a move up. All right. Yeah, so market's hanging in there. Again, I'm doing the video a little early. So we're doing the live stream for members at 4. I'm going to try and do a few more live streams kind of like regularly, publicly. So we had fun in the one yesterday. It was definitely a good time. Also maybe working on a little uranium video for those of you who caught that post last night. So we'll see if that can get in the works here in the next couple of days or so. But yeah, right now, just an impressive reversal for the market. We have the upside bias to 5,100 at least today, maybe tomorrow. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. We had a big update today, so a lot of the time when you're up 2% on the S&P, you're up 3% on the NASDAQ, you'll get a pause candle going into the weekend. But what can you say? The bears had a good shot, and they dropped ball again. And I mean, definitely an impressive repair job. That rising wedge across a lot of indexes and sectors, just getting completely negated in one day. Just a ridiculous move, and amazing how much weight NVDA has now in the market. So anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow.